Master William Paschall, aka Slaggy, on Twitch. We're going to start with some live internet chess. Welcome to the stream. You can check out my videos on YouTube at Video Chess Training channel. I posted everything on the under the comments or under the video down below, so you can check out my information there. We're going to try to get a 15-minute game started. If we can't, we will play some blitz to warm up. I played a couple blitz games. I'm in okay form this morning. I think what I need to do in the future is to start before the stream so I'm warmed up by the time we start. I had a friend who used to play weekly blitz tournaments, and he would always insist on playing warm-up games. I kind of never understood why. I'd sort of like to save my energy for like long blitz tournaments. But there are different approaches. I think, especially if you're a little bit still sleepy, the warm-up is probably a good thing. So, I don't think we have any viewers yet, but we're going to get started here. 15-minute. I'll try to get a 5-minute game. Playing live online, and we're looking for more chess sites to play on, so we contacted the administrators at Chess today, and I know they have capability over there to broadcast the live streaming links right on the chess site. I think that's really cool. So, waiting to hear back from them if they want to go ahead and do it. And we should get a game in a couple minutes here. I don't want to go faster than 5 minutes. I do play 3-minute. I'm not a bullet fan. Very rarely do I play bullet. It just sort of seems crazy to me, but it always did, even when I was younger. I sometimes play 2-minute. I have to confess. I've kind of grown out of it, but 2-minute is as far as I'll normally go. Occasionally, if I'm bored, I'll play 1-minute chess, but it's really, I don't take it seriously. It's just a joke. Never have I been talented with a mouse, like some people. But not a mouse specialist. We just try to win on the board, basically. We try to win on time, too, when we can. Anyway, for those of you who are watching the stream, maybe after the fact or something, I am an international chess master from the United States. I also play poker very seriously. We're taking a little hiatus from poker. Not totally, but from online poker. This is some guy I've never played before. Got an 1808. And it's 15-minute chess. We have time to think. Let's get it out there. I've had a tendency to drift into time pressure in these 15-minute games. You know, it seems like 15 minutes is 3 times the time that you have in a 5-minute game, so it should be a lot longer, but it's not quite. Now here we have the option to play this gambit with d5. I'm going to go for it. First initiation with this line was a bad experience. I remember very well. I lost to a strong Malaysian player the first time I ever tried this gambit. It was my first game in a Hungarian closed tournament in the first Saturday IM tournament in 1997. And I don't know whatever happened to that guy. But here he's playing like a Nimzovich. I'm playing a Nimzovich sitting where white has played f4. And to me this is like basically similar to a kind of Scandinavian. Basically we've got knight f6, knight takes d5. I have the included move c5. He has the inclusion of f4. From the books I've read and from my own experience, c5 is a bit more relevant than f4. I think the main thing is that f4 is a weakening move for the white king, so he has to take great caution and be careful with his king. Now d3, a quiet move, and I'm sure that the lines involving like bishop e5 check are probably critical. There is such a thing as critical after f4. Here, I don't know. Anything's good, but you know we don't really want to take on c3 and bring another pawn to the center for white. So, I mean, I would think that the standard plan of fianchettoing on the king side, it's going to turn into a Dutch, basically. I mean, if he plays g3 and bishop g2, closed Sicilian where black takes on e4, or white takes on d5, or basically a kind of Dutch with colors reversed. So the one thing that happens sometimes in these lines is if you play g6, your c5 pawn can sometimes be awkward to protect. And that's also true in the Leningrad Dutch. I don't know if anyone here, we've only got, hey, Espresso Forever, first here. I don't know if you play either side of the Dutch, but that's kind of what this is transposing to. Dutch for closed Sicilian. Aha, now, this is an interesting spot here. There was a game the other day where I didn't take an exchange, and I might do the same thing here. The guy resigned. That's a little bit extreme. I mean, if it was a long game, I guess I would resign, but honestly, you know, after b takes, bishop d2, bishop takes a1, queen takes a1, f6, white is lost, but you know, black would have to be a little bit careful. I might even not take the exchange there. I had this big speech. I'll get a new seek out there. Okay, 1900 from India. Kamalam. Now, you don't know what you're getting, it seems, here with 1900s. You really get a huge range in strength in the 15-minute pool. I've got some that are just complete beginners and some that are very, very strong. It seems around this rating range it's just impossible to guess how strong the players are. But that's an interesting situation when you're playing a kind of closed Sicilian sort of thing, and you can win an exchange on a1 or a8 or whatever, but if doing so weakens your king side, it really depends. Normally you take it, but if I've got a clear pawn like I did in this situation, or like I did in another game the other day where one of the viewers was shocked that I didn't take the exchange, I mean, I'll just say, you don't need it, you know, I mean, why do you need it? I mean, a clear pawn, it should be enough for a strong player to win. Alright, this is what I've been playing lately against the Slav. Queen c2, with gambit ideas. Basically, if d takes c4, I'm playing a kind of Slav gambit. And this I think is black's solid line, g6. And the problem is if you play e3, you end up in a very quiet line where your bishop has real trouble getting out from c1. So bishop f4, although I've had some scary games in this, it's a lot like a Grunfeld where the queen's misplaced on c2, except for the fact that black has played c6, which isn't all that useful. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's basically a bishop f4 Grunfeld, where these strange moves, queen c2 and c6, have been inserted. There are games I've played where black plays c5, and that can be dangerous. I think as many lines. I mean, not really dangerous for black. Now here I have to think about bishop d3. I really have to do a little more work on this theoretically because I'm not sure which is better. I've played both, bishop d3 and queen b3. I guess queen b3 is more of the default move. It's kind of an attacking move. I mean, I'm not trading pieces and I'm keeping the pieces on the board. But it can get a little scary if black plays, like, actually knight a6 in some positions, but here he can't really do that. Well, maybe knight a6 before. That's the move, one move that caused me some nightmares. A knight a6 instead of bishop f5, like a delayed bishop f5, may be more dangerous for white than the actual bishop f5 move. But I think objectively this line isn't dangerous for black, although it is effective against unprepared players. Now here, knight c3, I'm just going to develop straightforwardly, and I can take with the bishop on c4. Trading queens should leave white with a solid position and open the a file for play. We can consider c5 as an idea because he doesn't have a queen retreat that keeps the b7 pawn defended. So this is an idea in all lines of the Slav. Queen b3, queen b6, it's kind of standard. And usually it favors the side that doesn't blink first. So exchanging should sort of benefit white. Opening the A file, I think the initiative from the active rook outweighs the doubling of my pawns. Double pawns prove quite difficult to attack. Bishop c2, of course, it's an idea, but not that effective. Several reasons. I might have b4, and I certainly have knight d2 if nothing else. And you can also consider sacking that pawn. I mean, it's a huge idea. But at the moment, it looks like white has a ton of threats, like bishop takes b8, winning a pawn, exchanging on d5, playing knight b5, and what I mentioned with b4, b5. So black needs to take care here. Right. Welcome everybody. I'm International Master William Paschall. We've got the setup working. We had technical problems yesterday. I started to go haywire when my system shut down unexpectedly. So I never really recovered with the stream yesterday. We had camera problem. I couldn't fix it. And now everything's cool. Alright. Knight bd7 here. He needs to develop. I don't know what else to suggest. Actually, e6 maybe. Although that doesn't develop any pieces. So here we have interesting ideas. If I exchange on d5 though, he probably should take with a knight so as to prevent me from playing knight b5. cd5, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, and white doesn't have that much, it would appear. One thing to mention is the bishop issue. Bishops versus knights. You know, is it worth it to try to do weird stuff like knight h4, knight h5? Not so much. These structures where there's so many pawns on the board, generally speaking, the knights are as good as the bishops. So there's no reason to go out of your way, really, to try to win a bishop. Not wanting to put my knight on h4 here anyway, because he can play bishop e6 or even bishop c2 might be playable. Knight on h4 bad, knight on h5, an idea for black, because I don't know, but on the other hand, having said that, white has other moves too. Bishop e5, bishop c7. It's a lot of fun to analyze this kind of position with the computer. They always come up with funny ideas, but obviously there are a lot of possibilities in this kind of position. Knight e5 is interesting because I'm thinking that it's not a developing move though. But if I play knight e5, yeah, he can castle and capture on d7 with a bishop. That's the problem there. Maybe it's best for me to just make a developing move. Again, I'm not overly worried about knight h5. Maybe I should be, but there are a lot of moves. Bishop c7, and leaving his knight embarrassed on h5 is most sensible. Even if you play bishop g3, I think white is pretty good. In fact, here I don't think he can even do knight h5 because he's hanging his e5 pawn. He would break my structure up and get the bishop pair, but it wouldn't really justify giving up the pawn. So I don't think black has anything better than the castle here when white has to decide what to do. Unfortunately, keeping the king in the center not really that great of an option. We don't have a great square. d2, a little too exposed, things like knight e4 check, maybe the opening of the d file. Now here he plays h6. Well, he wants to play g5, I guess, at some point, and we'll both keep our bishops. We can both do that. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm in the process of talking to some other chess sites, and we're going to be exploring our options to play maybe on Lichess. Waiting to hear back from the administrators there if they're interested in hosting our stream there. g5, here we go. Bishop c7 in this case not really justified. I think we're best playing bishop h2. Bishop c7 would just be exposed to attack by like castles and rook f c8. We don't have much